Do you know the Euphrates River? Do you know your prophecies? Do you know what he hides for centuries? This is the Euphrates River in 2020, and this is the current river in some regions. But why is this these days one of the most searched terms on Google by many followers of Christianity? And what are these strange discoveries that local residents make on the banks of this river? Today, you will learn about one of the most popular prophecies in Christian beliefs today. More than 2,000 years ago, the Bible predicted that the giant and longest river in Asia, the Euphrates River, would dry up completely. And when that day came, something terrible could happen. The Bible says, "The sixth angel poured out his vial on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared." Revelation 16:12. The Euphrates River is found in the countries of Mesopotamia, on the Asian continent. Several Christians around the world defend and highlight the prophecy involving the river. But why? Well, according to them, the evidence starts, first of all, with a location, since the Euphrates River is in the east. The other reason is that the countries that make up this region have enough resources to form a large army, because, according to the Bible, there would be an army of 200 million soldiers that would march through it. Revelation 9:16-18. In a moment, I'll show you some terrifying scenes that were supposedly recorded on this river. But first, it is necessary to understand what makes it special. The Euphrates River is located in an area where several very important biblical events took place. According to Christianity, this river was a border with the Garden of Eden. Its waters passed through the place that God created to be the home of Adam and Eve, and all the animals that he created at the beginning of everything. The scriptures also show that this river was chosen by God as one of the limits of the promised land that would be given to the descendants of Abraham. Genesis 15:18. And it was also in this region that Nimrod founded the religion of Babylon, where the Tower of Babel was built as a sign of affront to God. And, as it is written in Revelation 9, when that river dries up, an army of more than 200 million soldiers will begin to march from the east. Now, it's curious. When the Apostle John wrote these words, there weren't even 200 million people on the planet as a whole. But just when you think this prophecy can't sound any more terrifying, look at what the Bible says. And he released the 4 angels who were prepared for the hour and day and month and year to kill the third part of men. Revelation 9:15. The Euphrates appears in the Bible in several places. In Genesis 2:14, it was described as one of the rivers bordering the Garden of Eden. In Genesis 15:18, the river was named as one of the boundaries of the land that God gave to Abraham's descendants. That same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, "To your descendants have I given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates." What draws the most attention is the fact that Jeremiah prophesied his drought. Jeremiah 50:38 and 39. "The sword will come upon your waters, and they will dry up, for it is a land of graven images, and its inhabitants are driven mad by these horrible things. Therefore the beasts of the desert, with the jackals, will dwell in Babylon. The ostriches also shall dwell therein. Will never again be peopled or inhabited from generation to generation." There are even those who say that the scenes I'm going to show here supposedly belong to these 4 imprisoned angels. Well, about that, we're not sure. But one thing is certain. According to the Bible, when the river dries up completely, these 4 fallen angels would be released to lead a huge army capable of destroying a third of the population. Therefore, if we add that number to all the other judgments in Revelation, it would mean that more than half of the population would be destroyed. Bearing in mind that today, the planet has an average of 8 billion inhabitants. That would mean that 4 billion inhabitants, that would mean that 4 billion people would disappear overnight. At this point, you might be wondering who these angels were and where they came from. For some Bible scholars, these are the same fallen angels mentioned in Jude. chapter 1 of the New Testament. According to them, these angels came into the world because they found the daughters of men attractive. From then on, they had relationships with these women, which ended up causing the creation of hybrid beings, the Nephilim. After that, when God realized what happened, he became very angry and brought a flood on the earth. But what happened to these angels? Well, according to the scriptures, God imprisoned them in places of complete darkness and darkness. See what it says. And the angels which did not keep their own principality, but left their own dwelling place, he reserved in darkness and in eternal chains until the judgment of that great day. Before continuing of talking about this terrifying and, at the same time, fascinating prophecy, put it here in the comments if you've heard of the Euphrates River and its importance to Christianity. And also take the opportunity to leave your like so we can bring more content like this. Well, now that we know the prophecies that deal with this river, let's understand why so many people are researching about it. It so happens that the region of Mesopotamia, where the Euphrates River is located, is currently facing a severe drought. According to the Ministry of Water Resources, the region of Iraq has faced one of the biggest water crises this year since 1930. Due to these constant droughts, local authorities in the region estimate that, on average, 1,200 families have abandoned the southern regions of Iraq, where agricultural activity is more present. With that, thousands of families were affected, as many of them depended on animal husbandry, which is one of the only ways to survive there. And it was on one of these dry stretches of the Euphrates River that an extremely curious and even frightening video was recorded, which has been circulating on social media. This video was captured by archaeologists and researchers who had been working at the site for some time. In it, terrifying roars can be heard, similar to those of a lion, but with a touch of anguish and monstrosity. In addition, it is possible to hear a sound that resembles the dragging of chains, like those of someone who is imprisoned. Let's watch together. Although we don't know for sure if this video is real or not, it still causes a lot of fear. Another curiosity is that the decrease in the volume of water in the Tigris and Euphrates rivers brought many benefits to the archaeological community. This reduction allowed the discovery of new archaeological sites never seen before, such as the one that was built in the early 1970s and holds more than 11,000 years of history. This site is located in the extreme north of Iraq. Furthermore, this drought has revealed an ancient city in the Mosul region. All this happened because the Mosul Dam Reservoir experienced an extreme dry period. It is this dam that contains the waters of the Tigris, one of the largest rivers in Iraq. Let's now talk about the newly discovered city of Zajiko, located in northern Mesopotamia. According to researchers, this city may even have been mentioned in ancient Babylonian texts. In this city, great fortifications, cast metals, walls made of bricks, and even evidence of residential buildings were found. Archaeologists also discovered a 3,400-year-old palace. According to these researchers, this construction belonged to the Mitanni Empire, which dominated parts of Syria, Iraq, and Turkey. After all that, it's easy to understand why so many people are talking about the river and its prophecies. The coincidences and connections are really intriguing. Well, the video ends here, but let me know in the comments what you think of this ancient prophecy and the mysterious video that shocked the internet. Also, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on new content like this. A big hug and see you next time. Stay with God.